As I said in the first introduction, we will be using two websites extensively this semester, both GeorgiaView and stevespence.org. Currently, GeorgiaView runs a software package called Desire to Learn, or D2L, so you will often hear to it referred to as D2L. As in past semesters, the makers of D2L recommend against using the Internet Explorer browser, since it's not as up-to-date as Chrome or Firefox, which are the recommended browsers. But whichever browser you use, you can access GeorgiaView by logging into the Swan and clicking on the orange D2L icon, which you'll find right there. There's also a direct link on all of our syllabus pages at stevespence.org. But once you log into the site, you'll see the basic layout of our course. The orange banner here includes links to the other important website for our class. The syllabus page is found on stevespence.org, but we'll stay here in D2L for a moment. In the left-hand column, this Start Here panel will disappear or go away after the first week, and then the calendar and updates panels will move up. The calendar tool is crucial for your success in this class since it tells you what is due each week. For example, you can see that this week we have a survey, the web use survey, as well as 2 quizzes that are due. And everything is always due by 10 p.m. on the following Sunday. More about that later. So moving back up to the top, below the banner, in the center of the homepage, is a quick link to Blackboard Collaborate, which is the video conferencing software we'll use for many of our synced class sessions. And we'll try out Blackboard Collaborate for the first time in class on Wednesday. Below this quick link is the Course Tools panel, which is here. And right now this includes just additional links to Blackboard Collaborate as well as to our course surveys. Moving back up to the top, the site's primary navigational tool is the list of links here, right below the CSU logo. There are a couple of links that you'll see on every page that will take you to stevespence.org, the homepage for our syllabus, or the schedule, which is perhaps the most important page on that site. And these other links will take you to full screen versions of all of the D2L tools. For example, on our quizzes page, you can see a list of all the quizzes that we'll be taking each week, as well as their due dates. You should look at all of these pages. And if you haven't used D2L before, you should definitely complete the tutorials that the Hub has created to introduce these site tools. To access these tutorials, let's move on to the second major website that we'll use this semester, which is available at stevespence.org. Clicking in this menu on GeorgiaView will open the syllabus pages in a separate window. So this is our syllabus, and you can find links to the D2L tutorials on the homepage right here. As you have seen, links to these syllabus pages are available in the menu of our GeorgiaView homepage. But of course, you can also access the pages by going directly to stevespence.org. If you can remember stevespence.org and then W4DM, or Writing for Digital Media, you can always get to the syllabus anywhere that you have a web connection. So using two websites, GeorgiaView and stevespence.org, might seem less convenient right now, but I do this in order to give you easy access to the assignments so that you don't need to log into GeorgiaView every time you need to find information about the class. It makes it much easier for you to check assignments from your phone, for example. On my phone, I've created a link that takes me directly to this page, our schedule, and I recommend that you do the same if you have a smartphone. So here is how the page will show up on your phone, for example. So moving back to our home page, one of the things you need to complete in this first week is, of course, to buy the required books and media. And you can see that we have 2 required texts. The Web Style Guide, you must have the 3rd edition of this particular book, which looks like this. And then a second book called A Writer's Reference by Diane Hacker. And the 7th edition of that book looks like this. It doesn't matter as much which edition of this book that you purchase. Any of them would work fine for what we need them for in this class. So if you can't find the 7th or if you see a cheaper version of another edition, that's just fine. This text, on the other hand, must be the 3rd edition. That's the most recent edition, and it's very different from the earlier ones. And finally, everybody needs to buy a flash drive, which, of course, come in a variety of different shapes and colors. You don't need a very big flash drive in terms of memory, but it does need to be dependable. So I recommend that you pick up a new one for your use in this class. And that is week 1. I'll now move on to our content for the rest of the semester. As I said in our first video, our course is divided into weekly assignments, and these come in one of 3 distinct formats. And I've got a graphic here that may help explain this a bit. Each assignment includes new material, and most include a short quiz, a completed worksheet, or some other submitted achievement. You will turn in online submissions using the Georgia View Dropbox. So each Monday we'll meet as a class using online tools like Blackboard Collaborate. Each Wednesday we'll meet as a class, but we will all gather in the M144 Design Lab. And then each week, finally, you'll have independent assignments that are asynchronous, which means that you can do them when you'd like and where you'd like, but all of them are always due by 10 p.m. on that following Sunday. The deadlines for each week's quizzes and assignments is always 10 p.m., as I said, but the syllabus lists where we're going on the schedule page, which is right here, and is visible here, for each particular topic. So for example, you can see that Writing 101 is something that we'll be completing on Monday, August 24th, and that will be our first synced class. We'll be using a tool called Padlet on that date. You can see the due dates for all of our individual assignments in our Georgia View calendar, as I discussed earlier. But you should note that online courses like ours cannot work unless students are keeping up with the material, and as a result, you will not be able to make up any quizzes or assignments after that weekly deadline. The General Policies page for online and hybrid classes, which is right here, discusses this in much more detail. Course attendance, missed work and participation, the midterm progress report, as well as information on plagiarism are all available on this online and hybrid classes page. So that's it for our basic introduction. Remember to come to class on Monday and Wednesday during the first week. If you have questions, you can ask them then. Also, I'm available by email at sspence@clayton.edu, and my online office hours are listed on my contact info page, which is right here. And a link to this contact info page is also available at the bottom of our homepage. So either of those will get you to this important information. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to working with you this semester.